Hello folks, welcome to Fun Pro. Research shows that underperforming websites disappoint customers and drive away business. This is an important factor because it can make all other efforts go waste. Whether your goal is to get more leads, sales, or reduce customer service phone calls, website optimization can be used to make your websites more effective at meeting those goals. It's not a luxury, rather a necessity nowadays. Today we are going to throw some light on how to audit websites or web application on different parameters. For example, performance, security, and maybe on more aspects. Web performance optimizations offers a lot of benefits like increased conversion rates, page views, search engine rankings, and even lower server bandwidth costs. We must have sound knowledge on how to optimize a web application on performance and on other aspects as well. Now you may ask, okay, we understood web optimization is super important, but question arises here, how can we have the insights on these parameters? How can we identify the opportunities in our web application where we can improve on? Do we have any such tool which can provide these insights and guide us what and how to fix it? The great news is yes, we have, and it's free to use. In this video, we are going to explore some of the great insights which can immensely helpful for web developers, UI architects, as well as for senior level folks. Having sound knowledge about this tool is going to be game changer in your career, because to earn more you must develop your skills, and it rightly says first learn more then earn more. Okay, now time to reveal the name. Here it is, the Lighthouse. As a lighthouse are to serve as a navigation aid and to warn boats on dangerous areas. It's like a traffic sign on the sea. In the same way, we have Lighthouse in web development world as an open source automated tool for improving the quality of web pages. You can run it against any web page, public or requiring authentication. It has audits for performance, accessibility, progressive web apps, SEO, and more. You can run Lighthouse in Chrome DevTools from the command line or as a node module. You give Lighthouse a URL to audit, it runs a series of audits against the page, and then it generates a report on how well the page did. From there, use the following audits as indicators and how to improve the page. Each audit has a reference document explaining why the audit is important as well as how to fix it. Lighthouse, it's an open source automated tool for improving the quality of web pages. It gives insight into how your web application evolves. Let's run this report against a website, and I'm going to use a legacy website so that we can understand different parameters which Lighthouse report will be highlight. So let's run it. So I'll open a web application, and you can observe it takes time to render. Nowadays the websites are quite fast, but it is an old legacy application, so that's why it's taking time. So let it get render first. All right, so we are done. Now let's go to the dev tool, either by right click, then go to inspect and Lighthouse, or you can press Ctrl Option J on Mac, Ctrl Shift J on Windows. If you have a Chrome extension installed in your browser, you should use incognito mode, and you will get the suggestion. So I'll instead of this, I'll use the incognito mode. Progressive web apps, so I'm not going to run against this parameter. I'll select desktop mode, and then I'll do analysis report. The moment you click, you will observe that it's reloading the web application to gather the report. So let's get it run. Okay, now Lighthouse has generated a report. Before we dig down into this report and understand different parameters and aspect, like how we can improve this application, I would like to share that what are the different ways to run Lighthouse. We have Lighthouse as a CLI command as well. All you need to install the package. So let's jump into npm.js.org, and here you need to search Lighthouse, the first option. So here is the Lighthouse package with 9.67 version currently. The first thing, you should install it at the global level, because most probably you are going to use this tool to audit many application. Here is the command npm install -g Lighthouse. It will install this npm package at global level, and further you can dig down into different option it provides by using dash help parameter. You must have realized it provides lot of option, right? So you need to figure out which option is relevant to you. I would focus on those options which are really important for you. The first option would be the output, like how I want to see the output, whether output in a sense like the report which it will provide, it should be on the JSON format or it should be on the HTML format. So here are the flags: output, and then you provide whether JSON option or HTML option. Second would be the output path, where you want to store that output file. Third, if you want to open that file into the browser, then dash view. Even you can control your simulated network by using throttling option. Here are 4 different output options, which says that whether you want to generate the report in JSON, you can provide your path. You can also put both options together like JSON and HTML. It will generate the output in both format. So Lighthouse is basically a great tool to audit your application. You can use it in both ways, whether you directly go to the DevTools by, as I mentioned earlier, by right click and go to the DevTools, or by using this CLI commands. So I'm leaving on you, how do you use it. The next thing, I'm going to explain what different parameters we should look into, and Lighthouse also provides tips and tricks to fix the issues. So these parameters most mainly would be performance, accessibility, best practices, SEO, and progressive web apps. Now let me run the Lighthouse through CLI. So here is the option. I have installed Lighthouse in my machine. All I need to pass the URL with the view option so that I can see the report in HTML format. And you must observe, the moment I start Lighthouse, it actually opens the application into the browser. Here it is. And it will log everything on your console, and finally you will serve with the report which will be opened into your browser. Here are different scores that I'm going to explain. Okay, I have rerun the Lighthouse again, and here are the score. You can see there are 2 colors only. One is red and another is orange. So basically there are 3 categories. From 0 to 49 it's a red category, 50 to 89 is a orange category, and from 90 to 100 is a green category. Unfortunately, we are not into green category, and you must be observing that we are also getting an message that due to some cron extension, actually this load performance report has negatively been impacted. So it is suggested that we should run Lighthouse in incognito mode. Alright, so before we rerun this report, let's understand how Lighthouse calculate this score. Here we can see we have Lighthouse scoring calculator, where we have option of device type, and we can select the versions as well, whether what is the Chrome version. We can select the device like desktop and mobile, and based on different parameters it actually gives a score. All right, so based on that we can see the scores on different parameters, whether it is a best practices, SEO, accessibility. Now let's focus on these two options, view tree map and view original trace. So I'll click on view tree map, and here you can see it's actually give us a tree view, which is nothing but overview that how our application was built by using different JS files. And if I click on further, it drill down and it gives a view that particular JS has another using another JS or not. But here we don't have any another JS inside. And if you see the below section where there are three categories, three columns basically: resource bytes, unused bytes, and coverage. Right. So this means that the red one means that the particular byte is not used, whether the green one is something which is says it is used, right? So it's a glimpse, and you can identify whether your main JS is big enough or to split further. Now I'll click on the view original trace. This is a more advanced form where we can see that at what particular time what happened, like when was the first paint, what was the large contentful paint. I'll explain that what does it mean, but it's something which is more advanced. Now let's try to identify these opportunities which this Lighthouse report says. If I click on this learn more, right, it will bring me another websites where you can actually understand what does it mean, reduce server response time, right? Our reports complains about this. It says that what will happen if we have slow server response and how we can optimize it, right? Do some optimization on our database. On the front end side, for the React library, it is suggesting that if you are using any server-side rendering, we should use render to node stream or render to statics node stream to allow the client to receive any hydrate different parts of the market instead of all at once. Next is the diagnostic system, where it's complaining on the cache, because we are not caching some of the assets. Logically we should, right? So there are some images can be cached, and Lighthouse actually flags all those static resources that are not cached yet. Maybe the resource could be font, image, media file, script, or a style sheet. How to cache a static resource using HTTP caching. Here is that we can add a cache control in HTTP response header with message. It actually explains everything, and once you implement this cache control, you can verify through your network tab, where you will see if it is cached, it's from memory cache, which is really fast. Now we should also avoid document.write, because in slow collection, external script dynamically injected by document.write can delay the page load by tens of seconds, which is really a big time. Images must have width and height. It also says that we don't have meta name with viewport. We must avoid excessive DOM size. A large DOM will increase memory usage, cause longer style calculation, and produce costly layouts reflows. Now it's also complaining about that our main thread is very busy. It's taking 6.3 seconds. We must consider reducing the time spent parsing, compiling, and executing JS. Let me click on learn more. Here you can see that how we can keep main thread free. There are many ways to keep your main thread free. If it is busy more than 4 seconds, user generally distract or they maybe switch to another website. The most interesting point is use web workers. I have recorded another video. You can find the link in the I button where I have implemented practically in Angular how we can free the main thread. There are another parameters where we can extract critical CSS, we can minify them, we can defer non-critical CSS, we can reduce the JavaScript and remove the unused code. There could be additional things we can do to free the main thread, like avoid long running input handlers. They can block scrolling. Do not make style changes in input handlers. Debounce your handlers, store event values, and deal with style changes in the next requestAnimationFrame callback. If, however, you attach an input handler like touchstart, touchmove, or touched, the compositor thread must wait for this handler to finish executing, because you may choose to call preventDefault and stop the touch scroll from taking place. Even if you don't call preventDefault, the compositor must wait, and as such the user scroll is blocked, which can result in stuttering and missed frames. The next part comes, which is accessibility, where it complains that images do not have alt attributes, which is alternative text. When writing alt text, keep in mind that its purpose is to relay information to blind users about the image contents and purpose. Blind users should be able to get as much information from alt text as sighted user gets from the image itself. Alt text should give the intent, purpose, and meaning of the image. It is read aloud to the user by screen reader software, and it is indexed by search engines. It also displays on the page if the image fails to load, and in this example of a missing image. So basically, this is really essential for the blind users who cannot see. Rather, they used to listen what is this image all about. It should not be something like image of this, photo of this. Rather, it should be very descriptive. Maybe images as links. If the image is being used to link to another page, the alt text should describe what will happen when the image is clicked, rather than what is it looks like. For example, the alt text for an image of a question mark that links to a help page should be contact support rather than question mark. Under the best practices, trust and safety is super important. Intruders have automated web crawlers that can scan your site for known security vulnerabilities. When the web crawler detects a vulnerability, it alerts the intruder. From there, the intruder just needs to figure out how to exploit the vulnerability on your site. JavaScript itself a fundamental technology for building web application, and it's also very popular for building server-side, desktop, and even mobile applications. Its widespread popularity, however, also makes it a prime target for hackers looking to target it through various attack vectors. Because JavaScript is used mostly in the front end, it makes sense to focus first on JavaScript security issues in browsers. The most common JavaScript vulnerabilities include cross-site scripting, malicious code, man-in-middle attack, and exploiting vulnerabilities in the source code of a web application. This can be prevented by scanning your code for vulnerabilities during development and educating your developers about security. Stop using each of the libraries that Lighthouse flags. If the library has released a newer version that fixes the vulnerability, upgrade to that version. If the library has not released a new version or is no longer maintained, consider using a different library. We can click the links in the library version column of our report to learn more about each library's vulnerabilities. Here you can see that we have 3 columns: library version, vulnerability count, and highest severity. If I click on this version, it will take me to the new URL where you can see what different vulnerabilities this particular library exposes. Mainly we can see it's cross-site scripting and one is denial of service. So it's a good idea during development time to time scan our web application and keep educating our developers on security risk. The last one is the search engine optimization, and in this category mobile friendly approach is paramount. A non-mobile friendly site requires user to pinch or zoom in order to read the content. User find this is a frustrating experience and are likely to abandon the site. Alternatively, the mobile friendly version is readable and immediately usable. In USA, 94% of people with smartphones search for local information on their phones. Interestingly, 77% of mobile searches occurs at home or at work, places where desktop computers are likely to be present. Mobile is critical to your business. Whether you are blogging about your favorite sports team, working on the website for your community theater, or selling products to potential clients, make sure the visitors can have a good experience on your site when they are visiting from their mobile devices. There are top 3 mistakes beginners want to avoid. Forgetting their mobile customers. Remember that good mobile sites are useful. They help visitors complete their task, whether that is reading an interesting article or checking your store location. Don't get caught in the trap only creating a mobile formatted site that does not provide the full functionality. Instead, remember to build a mobile friendly site, one that is truly useful for mobile customers and optimized for customers' most common tasks. Second, implementing the mobile sites on a different domain, subdomain, or subdirectory from the desktop site. While Google supports multiple mobile site configuration, creating separate mobile URLs generally increase the amount of work required to maintain and update your site and introduce possible sources of technical problems. You can often simplify things significantly by using responsive web design and serving desktop and mobile on the same URL. Responsive web design is Google recommended configuration. Third, working in isolation rather than looking around for inspiration. Check out other sites in your space or your competitors for inspiration and best practices. While you may not be the first in your industry with a mobile site, you have the benefit of being able to learn. Our responsive sites adjust the display to various screen sizes while using the same URL and code. All 3 devices above use www.example.com say rather than mobile pages at m.example.com and the tablet page at t.example.com. Convergence happens when a customer performs a desired action such as buying products, calling the business, or signing up for a newsletter. So we must focus on the mobile friendly approach, and Lighthouse will help you out to highlight all these missing pieces and also suggest how you can enable your website or web application to be mobile friendly. Thanks for your time. I know it's little long video, but it was really important. Please do share with your colleagues and friends. It's really encouraged me. Don't forget to subscribe, and all the relevant links would be shared in the description section. Please do comment if you have any question or any suggestion. Take care. Bye bye.